In today's video, we're going to be talking about 3 different types of worry and how to distinguish between them. Hi everyone. Worry is a universal experience. We all worry from time to time about various different topics. But have you ever thought about the differences in the types of worry that you have? Now, I'm not talking about the content of the worry itself, but more the nature of the worry. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 3 different types of worry to help you get a better understanding of your worry experience. But before I get into that, just a couple of disclaimers to go over. I'm a registered psychologist in the province of British Columbia, Canada, and this video is for informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute or replacement for advice from your doctor or mental health professional. Now, with those things out of the way, let's start talking about types of worry. Now, people often think that a worry is a worry is a worry. The worry process is the same regardless of what we're worrying about. But this is not necessarily the case, and we know that there are different types of worry that people will experience. And I'm going to be breaking this down into 3 worry types. The first worry type is something called a type 1 worry. Now, type 1 worries are worries about current or real problems. A problem that is actually happening now that I'm worrying about. So for example, I get my credit card bill in the mail, and the credit card bill is for $1,000, but I only have $200 in my bank account. This is an actual problem because I don't have enough money to pay that credit card bill. As a result, I may start worrying about how I'm going to pay the credit card bill even though I don't have enough money to pay it. Another example, I get sidetracked at work the day before and I don't have enough time to complete a project that's due today at noon. This is an actual problem because I have to figure out a way of getting this project done in time or my boss is going to be upset with me. So type 1 worries are about current, real problems that exist in this moment that I'm worrying about. The second type of worry is something called type 2 worries. Now, type 2 worries are worries about future or potential problems. Problems that haven't happened yet and problems that may never happen. Yet these are things that I still worry about. So for example, let's take a look at that credit card bill example that I talked about earlier. I get my credit card bill in the mail and it's for $1,000. I have $1,100 in my bank account. And so I'm able to pay this credit card bill. However, I might start thinking to myself, that was a close one. What if next month I don't have enough money to pay my credit card bill? Now notice, this isn't something that's actually happening. It's not a current problem that's actually occurring, but it's a problem that I'm imagining might happen in the future. And if I start thinking that I might not be able to pay my credit card bill next month, that may lead me into a spiral of other worries, like what if this is going to negatively affect my credit rating? And what if that means that I'm not going to be able to get a car loan, which means that I'm going to be limited in terms of where I can work and what I can do for work, which means that I'm not going to be able to get a good job, or that no one will want to be with me because I can't support a family and won't be able to get a mortgage because my credit rating is so bad, and I'll get lonely and depressed and end up losing my job and end up homeless. None of this has actually happened. None of these problems have actually occurred, and none of them may ever occur. But I'm still worrying about them and spiraling into this worst case scenario. These are examples of type 2 worries. The distinction between type 1 and type 2 worries is really important because it has key implications for how you deal with the specific type of worry that you're worrying about. Essentially, you're not going to use the same worry management approach for dealing with an actual current real problem versus a worry about something that hasn't happened and that may never happen. A key difference between type 1 and type 2 worries is that type 1 worries are generally under your direct control, whereas type 2 worries are not. Think about it. If I'm worrying about an actual current real problem, there are some things that I can do to try and address the problem, specifically problem solving. If I'm able to successfully problem solve the problem that I'm worrying about, I'm not going to be worrying about it anymore. But can I use that same approach for type 2 worries? Can I problem solve a problem that does not exist? Well, the answer is obviously no. What happens if I try to solve a problem that doesn't currently exist? I'm essentially just spinning my wheels, not doing anything, not getting anywhere, and just focusing on a worry about something that may never happen. So those are type 1 and type 2 worries. Now, the third type of worry is something we call a complex or mixed worry. Essentially, it's a worry that has both type 1 and type 2 components as part of the worry. So usually in a mixed worry, what happens is that it starts out as a type 1 worry, and then in the process of spiraling what-if worries, spirals down into a type 2 worry. So this type of worry involves both worries about an actual current real problem that then leads into future imagined problems that may never occur. So let's talk about an example of a mixed worry. Suppose I own a catering company, and during the busiest time of the year, I have several staff members quit or call in sick. I am completely swamped with work and can't stop worrying about whether I'll be able to keep up with all of the current contracts that I have. I'm also worrying that this is going to result in me losing clients and ultimately my company going bankrupt because I lost so many clients and wasn't able to ever get that business back. So notice in this example, they're both type 1 and type 2 worries going on. The type 1 worry part of it is me being swamped with work because several staff members are unavailable. And so the problem is, how do I figure out how I'm going to be able to do all the work for the contracts that I have? How am I going to fulfill all of those contracts? This is an actual problem that's taking place. Now, the type 2 component of this worry relates to me eventually losing clients and my business going bankrupt. This is a scenario or problem that hasn't happened yet and may never happen. So now you might be wondering, okay, this makes sense. I understand the difference between type 1 and type 2 and mixed worries, but what's the purpose of all of this information? How does this help? Well, I find that one of the key benefits in being able to categorize different types of worries is that this process can help you take you out of the worries and think about what you're worrying about from a different perspective. Sometimes just being aware that you're engaging in a type 2 worry can be enough to separate you from that worry process. Recognizing that you're worrying about something that isn't happening and that may never happen. So what's the point in worrying about it? It essentially becomes one of those things in which it's a bridge that I'll cross when and if I ever have to. However, if I identify what I'm worrying about as a type 1 worry, that can help orient myself to what it is that I need to do in that situation. Rather than worrying about this problem that's actually taking place, I can start to look for potential solutions to the problem. And if I solve the problem, I solve the worry. So I hope that gives you a better perspective, better understanding on the different types of worry and how to distinguish the different types of worry, and why being able to distinguish between different types of worry is important. I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas about this, so please leave me some comments in the comment section down below. If you've been enjoying my videos and would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell, and you'll be alerted every week when I post a new video. So that's all for today's video. As always, thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one.